So this is shit my 2-year-old says before 7 in the morning. And the disclaimer is I'm going to use the words boobies, penis, and fart quite often between now and the end of these 20 slides. I'll let you kind of think about that for a second. So there's this magical time of the day, and if you think about high REM sleep kind of ending around 3:30, that kind of kicks off around 5 a.m. The sun comes up, and then chaos ensues in my house. It's just nonstop till about 7 a.m. when we all kind of get out the door. So it's a really funny time to sort of document and think about when you pair it with sort of the magical time of development. You guys know what Moore's Law is? It's like the doubling of capacity in computers in half the time. And if you pair that with perception with a small child, they're still very much ruled by their emotions and sensations. So you put those two things together, you get this really sort of interesting mix that happens right at the 2-year-old mark. And if anyone's really interested, you start to die at 26. That was like the midpoint on our little thing there. There's also this magical bullshit that happens with early childhood education. I have tons and tons of books that regurgitate the same thing, just using new verbiage, right? Nobody has thought of anything new in terms of early childhood education for at least 100 years. It's all the same. The magical reality of that is that kids say weird, funny shit, right? And you're going to see that in just a second. That's my small child right there running around saying boobies, 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 which I'll explain a little bit more kind of as we go on. So I can't display my sort of magical influence on this. I totally make it worse. I have a really strong deadpan sense of humor, and anyone who has a small child knows you don't sleep ever. And I have a 2-year-old, so to learn new body parts, we play eyes, shoulders, knees, and toes, and I would just substitute other body parts. The word boobies came in because the BS is actually hard for small children to say. Boobies is much easier because it repeats the sound, so they can kind of say it easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at what the book says on sort of consequences, grammar, problem solving, imagination, family, and love. And then I'm going to give you what my son says as the sort of reality of what those things sort of look like. And you can imagine they're going to be really, really far apart from each other. You guys are also going to kind of get an unofficial tour of the architecture of my home as we go through this. So consequences, bad actions, bad consequences, good actions, good consequences. This is discipline on its most fundamental level. So eye level with a child, and you're not supposed to yell, and you just tell them what they're doing is wrong, and you explain it to them. So in this case, throwing eggs are for eating. Please don't throw them. Say you're sorry. 5:30 in the morning, it's not okay to jump on mommy's head in the morning. Please say sorry. My son's response to that is, Mommy, I have a penis. That's what he said instead of saying sorry. So we're going to get a bonus slide in just a second explaining this because I struggled with that concept for a little bit. So I'm not sure if he's rationalizing like his penis makes him do bad things or if he was just thinking about his penis a lot at that particular moment. So he would just he was saying it over and over and over in his head, and being a 2-year-old ruled by your emotions, that's what came out. He decided to say penis instead of sorry. I'm still not sure because he's 3 now and this is still very much part of his world. Grammar. 1,500 words in context. I would like more yogurt, please. The ball is red. So I would like to play in the park. I want more yogurt, please, or the ball is red. It's really amazing you think about being 2 years old and being able to sort of contextualize the world around you. With 1,500 words, it's actually a lot. Right. Unfortunately, everything is not as sort of nice and sweet. So 6:15 in the morning, my son told me that he's going upstairs to fart on my pillow. Again, I'm not quite sure why, but he felt it was important to share that piece of information with me. And why he decided it was something he wanted to do is also something that still kind of escapes my thought process. So problem solving, multi-step sequencing. So if then go to, big blocks on bottom make the tower higher. Higher angle makes the cars go faster down the tube. This is multi-step through sort of trial and error. For small children, they'll play with this over and over and over again. So this is his version of problem solving. Daddy, I'm going to tie this balloon to your penis so your foot won't hurt, right? And again, I'm not quite sure what he was thinking. If he was thinking like the balloon would act like a crutch and I'd be able to kind of float around in the house and it'd be much better, or if he thought of it in terms of a form of like acupuncture. And I'm not quite sure which one was kind of running through his head at that particular moment. So imagination, playthings have feelings and personalities. He has a monkey named Pantone. and it's named after the color company. So he talks to Pantone as a person, and he has a Mr. Turtle, and Mr. Turtle and Pantone have conflict, and he works out those conflicts through imaginative play in our living room quite often. So this is what I get, right? 7 a.m., buddy, it's raining outside, grab your raincoat. To my wife, yay, now I can be a dragon and bite your boobies off, right? So I'm not quite sure, one, where to draw stick figures, or like where to draw breasts on a stick figure. So we get that kind of awkward drawing. And also our dragon's a little out of perspective, but you guys can kind of get the sense. So family, understanding roles and responsibilities, family tree, however you define it, whether it's, friends and your family, whether it's nucleus or extended grandparents, they start to understand these roles and sort of responsibilities of who plays what role in their particular family. I got this, right? 3:30 in the morning. Daddy, it's your job. It's my job to snuggle. Mommy, you can snuggle Lilu, which is our dog. And our dog is a very hairy Labradoodle. She doesn't really look like that. But she loved this idea, and I can't really figure out if they're in cahoots, like if they work together or if they're working against each other. So I spent the rest of the night snuggling the dog on the couch, which made everyone really happy. So it's not all really, really bad, right? So love understands compassion and caring. And very simple, I love you, Daddy, I love you too, and helping out. So, Daddy, can I help clean the table? Of course you can. Anything you can do to make my life easier is always a good thing. And, they say a lot of really weird, funny stuff. So, 4 a.m. in the morning, I wasn't feeling too well. And, he came in with a pile of stuffed animals and told me that his stuffed animals, he would share them with me because he loves me, and that they will make me feel better because they make him feel better. So you never sleep when you have a kid. I'm sure most of the people in this room know this, but it's totally worth it because you get to have really fun interactions like those.